Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, the Millennial Investor, and today we're going to go over a company that I've loved talking about recently. I am a huge fan of this stock and the company in general, and I just love the mindset and especially the numbers behind this company. We're talking about the great Beyond Meat stock. Beyond Meat has had some incredible numbers, some incredible performance, and they have had a lot of investor attention lately. And I think that it is time that we make a video dedicated just towards Beyond Meat because I want to give my opinion on this company and as to whether or not you should invest in it. Now, I want to let you know right now, I want to disclose this information. Right now, as we speak, from the time I'm coming out with this video, I am not invested in this currently. Now, those of you that watch my videos all the time know that I'm a dividend investor, and I do want to let you know I am about to start a growth portfolio as well as my dividend portfolio just so I can show two different investing styles on this channel. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm still going to fund my dividend portfolio constantly 24/7, $100 a week like I have been, and I won't be funding my growth portfolio all that often. I will be funding my dividend growth portfolio as the main focus, but I do want to touch in with growth investing, and I want to give you my reasons why. And Beyond Meat is the company that I wanted to start on this with because this is the stock that I will be investing in the moment that I create that portfolio. Now, we'll be creating it probably within the next month or two. I'm saving up a little bit of money so I can have it a decent amount to start with, but Beyond Meat will probably be the number one stock in that investing portfolio if the price is somewhere relative to where it is now. But Beyond Meat, so it says that it is currently up 130%. Now, this is not 100% accurate, so let's talk about Beyond Meat for a second. When they went public, when they were setting their IPO price, I believe Goldman Sachs was the bank that they used to go IPO with, they initially priced their IPO price at $25 a share. There was such a large demand from investors to buy the stock that they ended up raising it significantly. And by significantly, I mean about 2.5 times the initial stock price. And today it is 125. So to say that it is 130% up, that is actually not quite correct because it is almost exactly 5 times the stock price of what they initially IPO'd at. So that said, they took their valuation to where they barely would have been a billion-dollar company, and now they're almost an $8 billion company. And you can see when they went public in 2019, about a year ago, you can see for months straight, it was just up and away. And at one point, it got up to about $250 a share. So Beyond Meat is a company that I love, and the reason why is primarily the value of this company for the long term, the opportunity that they have as a growth opportunity, and more importantly, the numbers. So let's just go ahead and start with Beyond Meat products. And if you're not familiar with me, my name is Jordan. I'm the Millennial Investor. I track my annual dividend income, my monthly dividend income, and my portfolio value as well. And if you're new to the channel and you want to support me, how you can do that is you can do exactly what these 20 people have done. You can sign up for M1 Finance using this referral link. It is in the description if you want to get started. All you got to do is deposit $100 to the platform, and you can get $10 just for signing up. Everything is absolutely free. There's no commissions, there's no fees whatsoever, and you could help me out and support my channel and give me $10 for started. Thank you 20 guys that have signed up. Let's go ahead and get that to 21. Be the 21st person. I'm 21 years old, so one for every year that I've been on this earth. And let's get that to 21, guys. And there's lots of other things in that description as well that you need to check out, even if you're not interested in M1 Finance. So let's go ahead and start looking at Beyond Meat products and what all they have to offer. Now, what they have to offer is, to start with, their number one product and probably the most common, what all you guys are interested in. They have their Cookout Classic. It's just a basic burger, but it's all plant-based. Now, with all of these products, regardless of whether you're vegan, vegetarian, whether you're an organic eater, it doesn't matter what your dietary restrictions are or what your preferences are. These are very healthy burgers. So just keep that in mind as far as strictly speaking of health reasons, not talking about any of your preferences or your beliefs. This is a very healthy plant-based meat to eat. It has tons of protein, and it is not nearly as harmful to the environment as a lot of other products out there. And then next they have their Beyond Beef crumbles. They have these little crumbles that can go in other products like the one that they show here in spaghetti and meatballs, and you can use that in tons of different products, and the combinations are pretty much endless as they scroll through these different opportunities and ideas for recipes down here below, like the Beyond Meat Burger Patty Melt, the Beyond Meat Stuffed Mushrooms, and lots of others. They have their Beyond Meat Sausage, so they don't just offer burgers, they offer sausage as well. They have a different type of feisty Beyond Meat crumbles. They have their breakfast sausage, which is great for people on the go, cooking breakfast sausage, so you don't just have to cook traditional burgers. And then they have the burgers like we talked about. Now, one thing here, you see Kevin Hart a great comedian, a great actor, the voice behind Beyond Meat. He is a supporter of the company. And Beyond Meat is not only supported by Kevin Hart, but a lot of other celebrities and a lot of politicians and a lot of other big names out there as well. Not that that should give you a reason to invest in it, but it's just good to have those people behind you. Now let's go ahead and start getting to the nitty gritty. Let's go ahead and start getting to the juicy stuff of Beyond Meat, the stuff that makes you want to invest in it. Now let's go ahead and start with their annual report. So Beyond Meat came out with this annual report last year in 2019. Now while I want to look at these numbers, Beyond Meat just came out with their quarterly earnings, but we're not really going to focus on that so much because I'm not worried about where the stock price goes in a month. I'm not worried about where the stock price goes in a week or 6 months. I'm worried about where the stock price is going to go over the next 1, 2, 3 years. Where do I think that this company is going to go in the long term? Because I think if you buy the stock at $125 a share, next month you might be down on it. 2 months from now you might be down on it. But a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, I don't only think that you'll be in the green on the stock, I think that you're going to be in the green significantly. So let's talk about the growth behind this company. In 2016, these numbers are in thousands, by the way. So this number that you see here, 16,000, just add 3 zeros behind it. So in 2016, they did 16 million. Okay. 2017, they did 32 million. So almost exactly a double up, almost to the T. So they doubled their business revenue in 1 year, 12 months. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the next year. They did 32 million in 2017. The next year they did 87 million. 32 million to 87 million. That's about a 2.5 times revenue in 12 months. And then let's go ahead and look at 2018 to 2019, the previous year, 87 million to 297 million. Is that not some of the craziest growth for any company? You know, usually the highest growing category for any company is usually tech. You see companies that go up 50% in revenue, 60%. You see one of the highest performing stocks in the entire stock market, Shopify, SHOP, ticker symbol SHOP. Shopify is up 2,431%. And I believe, I'm not sure the exact number off the top of my head, I believe Shopify grew revenues like 40% last year. So considering they grew 40% last year and that Beyond Meat is growing 2, 3, 4 times their revenue every single year and it is compounding and not slowing down anytime soon, why is the stock not performing in the exact same way? Why is it not having the same type of performance that a Shopify or a lot of other these companies have? Now, the thing is, at the end of the day, this is just a plant-based burger. It is not a tech company, but the question I have to ask you is, do you think that the growing trend is towards more organic, vegan, more health-conscious food decisions? My answer is yes. And we all know that the millennial generation, the Gen Z generation, they really like to focus on not only what they're eating, but where their food comes from. And Beyond Meat is a perfect company to catch on along with that trend. Now, a lot of times I like to mention the fad is bad, but the trend is your friend. So a fad is something that shoots up really quick and then goes away. Something usually, like I like to give an example, like an internet meme. An internet meme gets really popular for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then it dies out and no one ever talks about it ever again, and it hardly ever gets seen. But a trend is a long-term growth story, a long-term growth category. So for example, a long-term growth story would be the internet. The internet was started decades ago and it keeps on getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and now pretty much everybody in the world uses it. Now, while it might not be as big as the internet, Beyond Meat is definitely going to be a growing category, in my opinion, probably for decades. So probably for a very long time. So not only does Beyond Meat have an excellent research and development team, they have great financials, they have great growth, but they are in a growing category. So regardless of whether or not they perform well, I think that this category is going to continue to grow and Beyond Meat is going to take advantage of that. So let's go ahead and look at their balance sheet. The balance sheet is one thing that I like to talk about with all companies. It does not matter how good a company is, how much of a belief you have in that company. If they have a crappy balance sheet, then you cannot invest in them. I only invest in companies that are profitable and have great balance sheets, which, by the way, in the last year, for the first time ever, Beyond Meat is officially profitable. So keep that in mind. Now, Beyond Meat has a balance sheet that has $275 million of cash and cash equivalents. And you can see that has went up significantly, especially in the last year. So you see they had $39 million in 2017, $54 million, which is even still a pretty big jump in 2018, and then it went up a little over 5.5 times that amount in 2019 from $54 million to $275 million. Now I want to point out something here. Cash and cash equivalents. You see how it went about 5 times the price of it was the previous year. But what about the total debt? It went basically flat. It went up, what was that, 200,000? Okay, so it went up 200,000, but the cash and cash equivalents went up about 225 million. Okay, so basically the exact same. I'm sure that's probably just some interest carrying over, but they now have 200 more million dollars to work with. Now, one thing I wanted to point out here. You think about companies that are high growth opportunities like this one. A lot of times that a lot of these companies face issues with is they are extremely unprofitable, they lose money every year, and they have a hard time raising capital. They really have to offer a lot of awesome deals just to raise capital. So a huge corporation that I'll give an example with is Carnival Cruise Lines. They've been hit horribly hard from this recession. Now they had to offer bonds to fund their operations while this Rona is taking place. So they had to offer bonds at a 13% interest rate. 13%. So when they offer those bonds, they're having to pay those people 13% a year just to break even. So if they're not growing revenues 13% and being profitable by at least a 13% margin, they're not even a profitable company. But with a company that is financially healthy, that is growing as fast as Beyond Meat is, and is in a growing category with an excellent management team, they could finance any and everything they want. They could finance billions of dollars in the snap of a finger without question. Not even a remote doubt in my mind that they could finance $1 billion, $2 billion without even a question. So this is an excellent opportunity for Beyond Meat. As they get more and more partners, as they get more and more growth opportunities, they're going to be able to finance everything. They're going to be able to finance everything that they want, and even if they don't want to, they're a profitable company. They have $275 million to burn through, not to mention the profits that are coming through daily. So I think that from a financial standpoint, this company is looking incredible, and I think that the long-term growth opportunity is great for Beyond Meat, and I think that they have a long-term opportunity ahead. So let's go ahead and talk about some of the partnerships that Beyond Meat has. Now, the partnerships that they have are going to be brands and companies that you know every single day. A lot of times a company like this has a hard time getting in those big box stores and those great fast food chains that would be very hard to get in for a traditional company. Now you can see I have an article here. This just pulls up the top, I think it was 16. What was it? Yeah, so the top 16 highest profile partnerships. Number 1, KFC, one of the largest chicken restaurants in the entire globe. Subway. Now Subway is a really interesting one. Did you know that more than McDonald's, more than Burger King, more than Taco Bell, more than anybody else, the #1 restaurant chain in the world as far as locations go, Subway has more locations than any other restaurant chain in the entire world. Subway. So they just got in with the largest restaurant chain in the entire world. So just think about that for a second. Next, they have Dunkin' brands. So what is used to be Dunkin' Donuts is now referred to just as Dunkin'. And they're in Dunkin' Donuts with their breakfast sausages, and that is going to be great, especially as Dunkin' is primarily focused on breakfast foods. This is going to focus on their sausage patties and grow that even more and just diversify them a little bit further from their traditional burger patties. They're inside of Blue Apron. Now, they're in an online service. They're not an actual restaurant, those of you that are not familiar with Blue Apron, but they offer tons of different opportunities for shipping ingredients and meals to your home, and they are inside of Blue Apron. Famous Dave's is another restaurant that they're in, a very large barbecue restaurant. They're inside of Tim Hortons, another coffee chain that is based outside of Canada. Next, they have Del Taco, a taco restaurant. There's also been talks of Taco Bell, but right now they're inside of Del Taco. They're with A&W. They're with TGI Fridays. They're with Bear Burger. They're with BurgerFi. They're with Carl's Jr., a huge name. They have so many brands that everybody know and love every single day. These are not brands that people have to say, oh, I've never heard of them. These are some of the largest restaurant chains in the entire world. And I want to point something out here. Let's look at the news releases, the press releases for Beyond Meat. If you notice a trend here, let's just go ahead and start at the bottom. Let's just look at the last couple of months. So this goes back to March of 2020. It is now the beginning of August. And let's look at some of the announcements that these guys have. Go Beyond Breakfast. Beyond Meat announces national retail launch of latest project innovation, Beyond Breakfast Sausage. Beyond Meat announces new revolving credit facility, so they get some more credit. They now have a $150 million 5-year secured revolving credit. That is incredible. First year quarter net revenues increased 141% year over year. Let me just go ahead and repeat that real quick. 141%. You think about a lot of these giant corporations, like a lot of the companies that I own, you think about like a Coca-Cola or a Pepsi or McDonald's, they might grow revenues 1%, 2%, 3%, 10% for some of the higher growth companies like a Visa. You will never see a Visa or a Coca-Cola or pretty much any other company in general ever release 141% revenue growth. And they also had net income of 1.8 million or 3 cents per share. Like I said, they are a profitable company. You can see that they had to present at the William Blair 40 Annual Growth Stock Conference. You can see in this category that they had a facility in the Netherlands that they just acquired, which could help manufacture their products. Available at Walmart, Target, and additional retailers nationwide. Starting the week of June 22, the limited edition value pack narrows the price gap between plant-based meat and animal protein. Now, you can just keep on going on, and they have great announcements, and it is nothing but positive news for this company. It's not we had to divest in this sector because we were losing money. We lost this partnership. They're in Walmart. They're with Alibaba. They're with Amazon. They have so many opportunities for growth here, and this brings me to my last point as to whether or not you should buy Beyond Meat stock. Now, one thing I want to point out here, when I'm investing in a lot of my older blue chip stocks, with a Pepsi, a Coca-Cola, a McDonald's, whatever, you are going to make money in the long term, period. There's no doubt about it. If you invest in these companies for the long term, and as long as they don't go bankrupt, which God forbid that's not even close to happening, you are going to make money. They pay dividends, they grow their business, they're going to find ways to raise prices and become more profitable. But the question with Beyond Meat is, will they continue to be profitable in the future, and are they a good time to buy? Because you can buy Coca-Cola at any share price, and you're going to make money in the long run. But with a company that's new and high growth like Beyond Meat, you could buy at 125, and it's very volatile. You don't know whether or not you're going to make money. And this brings me to my risk reward versus Beyond Meat. When I want to talk about growth opportunities, growth stocks, we have to look at the risk versus the reward. And I think that the risk is not nearly as high as the reward potential. So a company that is literally doubling, tripling revenues every year, that might not keep up. Eventually they're going to have to come to a cap, and then it's going to start slowing down. So let's think of the worst case scenario with Beyond Meat for a second. The worst case scenario is they stop growing their company at a significantly slower rate. They don't get nearly as many partnerships as they used to. Maybe they lose some of their partnerships. Maybe their products have some bad testing or some bad production. Maybe they have to recall a bunch of their products. Maybe they make some bad financial decisions. Maybe their management makes some bad investment moves. There are so many bad scenarios that could happen. And let's take all that into account. Let's say that everything I just said happened. Okay? They still have deals with thousands of different retailers. Actually, I read their annual report, and I said right now that last time they reported, they were in 77,000 retail stores. 77,000, not 7,700, 77,000. So even if they were to lose 10,000 of those stores, 20,000 of those stores, which obviously this is not realistic, I'm just giving a scenario here. Do you think that this company is still going to grow at a significant rate? We're in a growing category. They're a profitable company. They have excellent balance sheet. They have great financials. And I don't think of a scenario where the stock gets cut in half. I could see that they could probably go down some. They are pretty high valued. But with a company that is growing at this rate, I don't really see a scenario where eventually, in the future, 2-3 years from now, even if they were to get cut in half, where they don't eventually get back to the same price where they are today at $125 a share. Now, let's talk about the best case scenario. Let's say that they keep on getting new partnerships. Let's say that they keep on increasing margins. They keep on getting new financing. They keep on growing the category and the trend being more towards organic plant-based products. I think that this company has a huge growth potential. And one thing about this company that is so great compared to like an older boring company like Coca-Cola, investors, as you can see right here, get excited about opportunities like this. You can see a company like Apple, for example, which I will mention in a next video upcoming very soon. Apple just rose 10% on our previous trading day. 10%. This is a $1.8 trillion company. So for a company like this to move up 10%, it is not like a Beyond Meat where, oh, there was quite a few $1,000,000 invested today. This is hundreds of billions of dollars. Hundreds of billions with a B, not an M. So for a company like this to move up 10%, investors have to be excited. Investors have to be looking forward towards the future. And investors always like to focus on the long term and what's going to happen in the future rather than what's happening today. And I think that's going to be an excellent choice on what's going to happen with Beyond Meat. And I think there's pretty much nothing but upside opportunity with Beyond Meat. And overall, guys, my opinion with Beyond Meat, pretty much anything at these prices or better is a great buying opportunity. I think you should be buying the stock. My portfolio is doing great. In the next video, I will be giving an update on my portfolio. Those of you that are interested, I'll be scrolling through all my positions right here. If you want to pause on any of them, see how any of them are performing, you can see so far I do have some of my great winners still taking off as usual. Whirlpool, Discover, NextEra Energy Partners, and then I'm down on 2 stocks. 11 cents on Starbucks, 31 cents on Store Capital, and I am up 22.95% on a money weighted return, or $461, 434 for market gain, 27 from earned dividends, and on a time weighted return, we are up 14.72%, or $389. So that pretty much wraps up the entire video, guys. Thank you guys if you made it all the way to the end. And starting today, I will be investing $100 into the portfolio. So right after I turn off this camera, I'm going to invest $100, and we are bumping that up finally from my previous $25 a week. We are now bumping it up to $100 a week. So I'm super excited. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and like I mentioned, go ahead and use the successful referral link if you have not already. And check out other things in the description. I have things like mentorship calls, credit card referrals, and lots of other things as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a comment down below what you thought about this video or any questions you might have for me, and I will see you guys next time.